Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for Thursday. Another three-gamer, but this one at least has some viable options, so there's a lot better plays than Tuesday's three-gamer. Looking forward to breaking it down. Making this video in the afternoon, so we'll have time to look at prize picks as well since they posted their fantasy scores. So let's get into it. As always, if you enjoyed the video, appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Yesterday, good day on Fanduel, hitting cash in tournaments there, 318. DraftKings hitting double ups, 254. Schroeder, Norman Powell came through late. So, solid day in the prize picks. I posted on Twitter went 4 of 5. Hopefully we can get that 5 of 5 today. So first, before we get into the DraftKings, I'll just share my 5 picks that I got for prize picks today. Mixing in a couple of the NFL players just because it's only 3 NBA games and there are some nice props on some of these for this Thursday night game tonight. But first, give me the over 29.5 fantasy score for Desmond Bane. He's been playing big minutes for the Grizzlies since Ja Morant's been out. And he's been super productive. He's dropped over 40. He's been a better producer during that span than Dillon Brooks, who has like 2 points more than him on prize picks, I believe. But last game just shot the ball poorly to 5 of 15. But he's taking 15 to 20 shots almost every single game out there. That one game only played 18 minutes. They won by 70. So excluding that game, 25, 40, 48, 35, 30. Another game that he only played 24 minutes in. But in close games, he's playing... that was also a 32-point blowout. He's playing 34 minutes in close games. And all the season, he's been shooting the ball really well. 47% from, or that's just the Lakers. He's shooting 47% from the floor, still, and 40% from distance, 92% from the free throw line. He's been amazing just in terms of being able to put the ball in the basket. So that prop looks very good. I love the Jakob Poeltl. He's pretty much a staple whenever he's like right at 30 or 31. He plays just so many minutes, especially tonight against Jokic. They're going to need him out there. The Spurs are also favored in this game, so that just shows how banged up the Nuggets are. Should be a competitive game. The only slight concern you have is Jokic being able to draw fouls against Jakob Poeltl, who has done a fairly good job of not fouling out of a lot of games this year. But Jokic is still a guy that you might want to worry, that you could worry about that. But if he's going to be playing 30-plus minutes, he's typically going to get you over 30 fantasy points. He's averaging point per minute plus. Could have been way better, like I mentioned last time. The free throw shooting has been killing him. But averages over a block and a half a steal. He got 2 stocks, almost double-double candidate. He looks very good at only 31.5 on prize picks. I love the Kirk Cousins over 21 pass completions. They're going up against the Steelers today. I'm just looking at the game log and how many passes they typically throw. Kirk Cousins has been well over that average for this year. Last week against Detroit, they had to come from behind, but he threw the ball 40 times, threw the ball 32 times against San Fran the week before. 30 pass completions last week, 20 against San Fran, 24, 25, 17, 23, 33, 25. So looking at over 70% of the week so far, he's been over 21 pass completions. I will sign up for that. Like Justin Jefferson, over 19 fantasy points. They don't have a lot of their big weapons. Missing Adam Thielen. Dalvin Cook looks like he's going to be able to play, but he's banged up. Don't know if he'll be able to hold the full game or if he's going to play his normal workload dealing with the shoulder injury. But Jefferson should get a ton of targets. Just saw the praise that he got from another fellow superstar in the same division, Devontae Adams, shouting out Justin Jefferson yesterday. He's a really special player. Still mad that Howie Roseman passed up on him. But 19 looks very good. I'm expecting 20 plus out of him in a game that he's going to be there. He's going to be targeted like 10 plus times easily. And I like DeJounte Murray over 7.5 assists. He's averaging 8.5 on the year. He's had a couple of big games this year with the assists. He had a couple of games where he put up over 14 assists. He had just looking at his game log, 7, 14, 7, 13, 8, 6, 11, 11, 4, 9. So typically he's going to be over that number. A couple games he's been right at 7 or 6 or one game at 4 recently, but I will still gladly take an over when the average is 1 whole assist less than what he's been doing this year and he plays just monstrous minutes. And they don't have Keldon Johnson today, so that might make him play even more minutes today if Devin Vassell can't play, but he's going to be a game time decision. But lock those props in. Hopefully at least 4 of them cash so you can double up your money. If all 5 do, then you make 10x. So you can use my promo code process if you want to try it out. prizepicks.com. Now let's get into the NBA slate. On this 3-gamer, it's not going to be too much to dig The Lakers superstars are on this slate. Typically, I don't like playing them, but today I can make an exception because there's just not that many other superstars. You have the Lakers big three, then you have Jokic on a back-to-back, and you have Embiid also on a back-to-back. And Embiid is facing off against Rudy Gobert. Embiid is matchup proof, but 41 minutes a game before against Charlotte. They had a day off, then he played 33 last night, and he's still coming back from missing over 2 weeks from the COVID illness. He actually missed 3 weeks and played 45 right out of the gate. But I wouldn't want to go crazy with 11,000 Embiid. I'd probably still like to get up to Jokic if I could pick between him and Embiid. But I don't mind paying down for these Lakers guys today. I think LeBron looks appealing. The matchup is very solid against Memphis. They play at a quick pace, so the Lakers get a nice pace bump. The Grizzlies bottom third in the NBA in giving up points. They do a pretty good job of not turning the ball over. Actually, they turn the ball over pretty much mid-average, so they're average in that department. But overall, they play at a fast pace. They're good at rebounding, but who cares that much? It's not going to affect LeBron. He's been really efficient. He's been their best player. Without LeBron, the Lakers look super sketchy in the West. But LeBron there, they'll be able to keep the game close at least. He plays big minutes in a close game. Last game, played 36 against Boston, even though that wasn't even super close at the end. But 36, 37 minutes, we've seen him get up to over 40 if it's super tight or if it goes into overtime, obviously. But at the point guard position, I still probably like LeBron. That you can pay him. You can play him at point guard. I like LeBron more than Westbrook. Still like DeJounte Murray. He wasn't the best last time out. Just got off to a slow start. Still had a good all-around game, 15, 7, and 7. But expecting a little bit more out of him. He didn't really get the job done. He wasn't he was efficient in terms of 3-point percentage, but 40% he can do better than that. And it just wasn't a good game against the Knicks for him. I think he can bounce back today, hopefully. It's another kind of slower pace, tougher matchup against Denver, though. But on a 3-gamer, you make exceptions for superstars, and DeJounte Murray been playing like a superstar this year. You have Mitchell cheaper if you wanted to take some savings. Go with Donovan Mitchell. He's fine. He's been in the 40s pretty regularly every single time out there for the most part. A couple of bad games in the 20s can kill you, but recently over 40. It's a matchup against the Sixers, who they got Embiid there, so he's good in the paint for defensive purposes, but they can still be prone to guards that can score, and Mitchell definitely will look to score on every possession. I think there are some better just cheap plays, though, today, like 6K range. I like Derek White. He's been playing so much better. He got off to a terrible start this year, but he's really turned it around. He has now games of 24, 25, 26 real-life points in 3 out of his last 5. Filling up the assists now, getting some more rebounding chances. He's playing big minutes. Just finally starting to play like the player that we thought he would be heading into this year, and he's still very underpriced at $6,300. But the first guy I got to plug in is De'Anthony Melton. He's only $4,600. The Grizzlies are super underpriced on DraftKings today. Melton will play 23 to 26 minutes most games. He's been producing at an effective rate, and the matchup is so solid. You have two not the best defensive teams. The Lakers have been really poor defensively. They're giving up 113 points per game. They're in Memphis. So I like getting to a lot of these Grizzlies. They're so underpriced. They are the best team to target on DraftKings today. Other plays in the 4K range, there's really nothing. The 3K range, also not much. Like Bones Highland, you can take a shot with him. Campazzo, maybe. I like Highland probably slightly more, but I think Melton looks like the cheapest I'm really considering. At shooting guard, you have Donovan Mitchell, 88. He looks fine. Bane, he's expensive. He can, we've seen him pay off the salary. He's not my favorite play, but if you make a lot of teams, definitely have some in there because he's shown the ability to just get red hot shooting. The Lakers not going to be able to slow him down because they can't stop anybody from scoring. But I'm going Derek White. He's only $6,300. Like the price tag on him. The matchup isn't the best, but you're getting a guy that gives you 40-point upside at a sub $6,500 price tag. He plays big minutes. They're missing a starter in Keldon Johnson. They could be missing another key role piece in Devin Vassell. Other plays at shooting guard would be Will Barton at 68. You have Monty Morris at 54. He plays over 30 minutes, 32 to 36 if he's playing well, and they don't have much bodies right now. They're just super banged up. But he can produce. He's been in like the 20s a lot of the times. He can occasionally have games in the 30s. He has like one recently. I prefer getting to White a little bit more. I prefer some of these other pieces, but I probably like him more than Shake Milton now that Maxi's back. He probably looks a little bit better than Clarkson at 49. You have $3,700 Lonnie Walker. That we don't know who will start in place of Keldon Johnson. Knowing Pop, it'll probably be Keita Bates-Diop, who is $3,300 on DraftKings. He could be a decent value if he starts, but he looks a lot better if we know Vassell is also out. Like if Vassell is in, then they could start Vassell. So right now we're just taking kind of a wait-and-see approach. It is the last game of the slate, so we might not get that news by 7. But at least I got like one Spur in here and Derek White. We'll get another couple of Spurs because Jakob Poeltl is underpriced. Moving on to small forward. Will Barton, Dylan Brooks look appealing. I like LeBron at 10-1. Even though I like Desmond Bane for the prize picks, Dylan Brooks probably looks better than Bane on terms of DraftKings. He's $600, $700 cheaper. He gets you ability to play him at small forward, which isn't looking super deep today. And he's been producing. He's still been a little bit risky. At least the shots have been there. Last game he took 18 shots and he got ejected. 5 fouls. Also, he's been fouling a lot, which isn't fun. But $6,200, you know he's going to be out there to defend either LeBron or Russell Westbrook. He's their best defender that they have. Other plays at small forward would be Doug McDermott maybe at 42. Vassell if he starts at 41. It's kind of like Rudy Gay as a value at 39. You have him and Joe Ingles basically exactly the same price. So you can they're kind of like a coin toss between them. I think they both look similar. Rudy Gay's been really solid since he's been healthy and he's been coming to the rotation. He started off with the 7 of 8, 5 of 6 from deep shooting performance against the Raptors, and he's been pretty steady in the 20s. Occasionally he's in the teens, low in the single digits, which isn't fun. But recently he's gotten over 22 minutes in 3 of his last 5. He's gotten over 20 in 4 of 5. He's been taking a lot of shots off the bench. Like Joe Ingles hasn't been shooting the ball much. He still gives you upside for the assists, but he has under 5 shots, under 10 shots, 5 shots, 9 shots, 5 shots. Whereas Rudy Gay, even in limited minutes, he's taking 10 plus shots most of the time. So I'll take a shot that Rudy Gay can get hot against the Sixers defense. Power forward, Anthony Davis, 10,000. I like LeBron more than Davis. I'll probably go LeBron, Davis, and Russell Westbrook. Jaren Jackson looks fine. He's 7K, looks better on FanDuel, but still playable just because he gives you big block upside. He's very such a volatile player because he can get you like 20s if he gets into foul trouble, which happens almost every other night. Aaron Gordon looks fine at 61. And then for value, there's not that much. Power forward is looking pretty weak, which is why I plugged in Rudy Gay. But maybe you can look to Vassell, Carmelo, Kyle Anderson if he plays. Keita Bates-Diop if he starts. At center, you have Jokic and Embiid. Both great pay-ups. You have the Lakers guys a little bit cheaper than them, so I kind of prefer the Lakers just based on their price tags. At least LeBron I like more than Embiid. Maybe slightly more than Jokic, just depending on what that $1,800 will let you pay up for. But give me Jakob Poeltl. He's only $6,400. He's been really steady. He doesn't get a ton of love ever, but he's been great defensively. 3 blocks, 4 blocks, 1 block. He gets you a lot of rebounds. He's fine finishing around the basket. It's just the free throws that destroy him in terms of just giving him a 40-point ceiling. And then last but not least, in the guard spot, we'll go back to DeJounte Murray at 97. Actually, I'll probably just plug in LeBron. At 10-1, plug LeBron in at small forward. So, I want to get you at least one Laker. I'm plugging in a couple of Grizzlies. So I think LeBron maybe will be my favorite one. He's taken 20-plus shots a lot of these games. Still gets you assists, gets you rebounds, chance that he can flirt with the triple-double. And minus the last game against Boston, he's put up 51, 60, 56, 61. He's been paying off a 10K price tag. Now that he looks like he's fully healthy from that abdominal injury, I believe. Yeah, abdominal injury. So that's it. He still leaves you with $6,300, plugging in a couple of nice options today. Like LeBron looks very good. You got it. Underpriced Derek White, very cheap Melton. Brooks gives you upside. Gay has a good value, and then Poeltl, just a guy that can get you 30 into the 40s. So that's it for DraftKings. Let's look at FanDuel. So FanDuel point guard plays today. You have DeJounte Murray at 98, he's more expensive than Russell Westbrook, but I kind of agree with that. I still like Murray more than Westbrook. Donovan Mitchell looks great as a second tier just because he's pretty affordable. You can play him at 2 spots. Probably utilize him at shooting guard. Derek White doesn't look that appealing on FanDuel. He's too expensive at almost 8,000. I'd rather get up to Mitchell or go down to like Tyus Jones at 58. He's been playing a lot of minutes. Jones looks better than Melton just because Jones plays more minutes and he starts. Don't mind taking a shot at Maxey, but Embiid and Tobias being back kind of hurt his overall floor. And then that's basically the main guys to consider. At shooting guard, you can plug in DeJounte Murray at 98. Desmond Bane looks better than he does on DraftKings, but Mitchell is probably the key piece at 84. Not an overly deep position because a lot of these guys you can plug in at point guard, or you can plug in at small forward like Dylan Brooks, Will Barton. They both look appealing right at 6K. The 5K range isn't looking that strong. Minus, you can take a shot on Melton or Steph Curry. And there's not anything else that looks that appealing. I guess you can look to Ingles or Lonnie Walker, but in a single lineup, they're not guys that I'm prioritizing. Small forward, I go back to Dylan Brooks. He's 61 at home against the Lakers. Can probably get up for this type of game. Dylan Brooks loves to show that he's the best player on the court. At least he believes that. And I wouldn't mind him playing like that today if you have him in both lineups. He's just underpriced on FanDuel at 61. Expect him to be popular, but, there's just not that many great options. Will Barton would be the second piece that looks appealing, right? Yeah, similarly priced. And then at the bottom, you can maybe look to like Rudy Gay at 46, but he's kind of expensive there. Doug McDermott looks fine. And then you have Lonnie Walker if he starts. Keita Bates-D up 38. Not going to be very fun to roster. Power forward, Jaren Jackson Jr., $6,200. He's way too cheap. The Grizzlies are underpriced on both sides, especially FanDuel where you have Brooks, Tyus Jones, Jaren Jackson. Way too cheap. I don't know why Jackson is 62. He's been putting up 40s a lot of the time. Sometimes he gets you in the 20s, but when you get those extra bonuses for blocks, it's just super valuable on FanDuel. And it's not like there's a ton of great names, so he's the best. You can look to Rudy Gay at the bottom. Look to Doug McDermott. If you're paying up, look to Tobias. Look to LeBron. And at center, Embiid at 10.6 is fine. Embiid and Jokic are cheaper than they are on DraftKings, so still probably like to get to Jokic, $500 more. If you're looking as a value, go to Jakob Poeltl, or you can play Jaren Jackson at center and then maybe pay up for LeBron at power forward. But that's what I got. Pretty similarly type of build on DraftKings, minus Donovan Mitchell and minus Jaren Jackson. But some of the Spurs look appealing. Some of the Grizzlies look appealing. They're probably the two best teams right now to target. The first game, really don't have too much interest in it right now. That could change. I think Rudy Gay looks good on DraftKings. You have Joe Ingles on DraftKings, but and then Donovan Mitchell, obviously. But there's just not too much I'm looking at from the Sixers side, and only a couple from the Jazz side. So that's about it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy the content, hit the like button before you head out. Best of luck tonight. You can stay tuned for Twitter for updates if there's any more news. And I'll see you all tomorrow.